For years, my students at Columbia have asked me a question that seems deceptively simple. What should we do when we're in a bad mood? I used to put off answering, thinking the topic was just too big. But after teaching psychology for so long and living through plenty of American workplaces and family gatherings myself, I realized that sometimes the best answers are simple and rooted in real life. So, what should we do when we're feeling down? If you trace it back, most bad moods in our lives come from two things: people and situations. Let's start with people. Think about it. When you're upset, is it your friends, your families, or your colleagues? Here in the States, you can choose your friends and you can choose your job, but you can't pick your family. Maybe your uncle keeps bringing up politics at Thanksgiving, or your spouse doesn't seem to listen. What then? The first step is to identify who's at the root of your mood. If it's someone you can't choose, like your mom or dad, your brother or sister, then you need to communicate. Sometimes it means having those tough conversations. If it's your spouse and communication just isn't working, well, in America, you do have options. That's one reason our divorce rate is so high. When things can't be fixed, people move on. Now, what about the workplace? Maybe it's that coworker who always seems to criticize you, or a boss who never recognizes your work. Sometimes, sure, it's our own mistake that puts us in someone's crosshairs, but other times, you're just the easy target. Here's something I learned both from my own experience and from a childhood spent reading about American heroes. If someone bullies you once, maybe you let it slide. If it happens again, you start to wonder. But if it happens a third time, it's time to stand up for yourself. People tend to pick on those they see as weak. The lesson? Don't be the office punching bag. If you let someone get away with bullying you, it sets a pattern for you and for everyone else. Make it clear there are consequences. This isn't about violence, but about asserting your boundaries with strength and dignity. I'm reminded of the old tales about John Henry, the steel-driving man. He was strong, yes, but he was respected not because he was a bully, but because he stood up for himself and for those who couldn't. In life, if you have power, use it to help others, not to oppress them. If you're weaker, don't let people walk all over you. Strength with kindness is a virtue. Now, let's talk about what happens when you consistently show this kind of integrity. If everyone around you knows you have boundaries, they're less likely to cross them. Why? Because you treat others with respect and sincerity, and people remember that. But if your personality is passive and you let others take advantage, you risk becoming the person everyone dumps their frustration on. It's human nature. People push limits if they think there are no consequences. If you find yourself in a situation you can't change, resist as much as you can. If you can change it, don't be afraid to make a move, even if it means finding a new job or a new circle of friends. Life is about choices. What about things, not people? Sometimes it's events that make us upset. Here's a little exercise. When you're angry, ask yourself, will being angry help? If your anger will actually solve the problem or improve the outcome, go ahead. Be angry. But if not, why waste the energy? Something already happened at work. You're furious, and you go out drinking that night. Will that drink help the situation? Or will it just hurt your body and your mind? The same goes for worrying about the future. Americans are world champions at worrying. Before something even happens, we ask ourselves, what if it goes wrong? What if I fail? The key is to imagine the worst possible outcome and ask, can I accept this? If you can accept the worst, go for it. If not, adjust your plans. Let's say you hate your job and your boss, and you're thinking about quitting. Can you handle the risk of unemployment, of finding a new team, of starting over? If you can, then maybe it's time to take that leap. If not, try to find some middle ground. Maybe you can make small changes to improve your day-to-day life without flipping the table. When people don't like you, ask yourself why. Maybe there's a way to connect with them, or maybe it's just not meant to be. You can't control everyone's feelings, but you can control your own responses and your willingness to grow. In the end, life is full of hard choices and tougher lessons. There's a scene in the American classic, The Pursuit of Happiness, where the main character's son asks if life is always this hard, or just hard right now. The answer? Life is always hard. That's the truth. But if you accept that, every problem starts to feel a little smaller. Accepting the difficulties is the first step toward overcoming them. So the next time you find yourself in a bad mood, take a breath. Remember, people and events may challenge you, but your response is always your own choice. Set your boundaries, communicate honestly, accept the tough parts, and move forward with the dignity and strength of someone who's learned a little bit of psychology and a lot from life.